Welcome to I Heart Geek.
And welcome to a special episode of I Heart Geek. We're talking about the Snyder cut of Justice League, and it's not the same movie. Before we get into it too heavy, I'm Dub, and I'm here with my buddy Skeeter, and I'm here with Tyler. How are you guys doing today?
Amazing.
So tell me, what did you guys well, you know what, before we get into the Snyder cut,
The only cut.
what did you guys think of the original Justice League movie? I guess that'd be the second one, but the one we all watched first.
The one full of like the
Garbage?
bubblegum jokey Marvel jokes. Ha ha ha.
Yeah, hot garbage comes to mind.
Yeah. So
one-
no one was a
It was-
fan.
No.
the radio Disney version. I guess I can call it that.
Wow.
Wow.
So, well, yeah, we're not going to spend much time on that. And in fact, honestly, it was so bad. I think I watched it once, and I don't remember most of it. That's how bad it was. And I'm a DC guy, so that says a lot.
Yeah, I fell asleep through the first viewing of that one. So
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
on the couch too. I never fall asleep on the couch. I couldn't make it through it.
So let's talk Snyder cut. First off, it's a night and day difference. There are a million changes, and I'm going to throw out a theory. I know this is not a true theory, but this is I have to be able to make this work somehow in my brain why this happened. And Whedon did all the Avengers movies, which were fantastic, by the way. He did quite a bit of that universe that we've built in Marvel. How much did Disney pay Whedon to come in and destroy the Justice League movie?
I'm right there with you. I think, I've said it before, I'll say it again. The mouse is the Tony Soprano of the comic book universe. I mean, they literally, like, thinking about looking at night and day, looking at the two side by side. Immediately the thing that you see is the cinematography. It doesn't matter anything else. It doesn't matter how it starts, how the middle, how the end. The first thing you see is that it's not this super bright, I just walked through the front gates of California Adventure and I'm hearing the Avenger music. It's not that at all. It is what it should be.
Well, now I'm not going to completely agree with you on that, because my biggest complaint of the Snyder stuff so far has been the heavy sepia tone, especially when it comes to Superman.
Really?
Yeah, I think it takes away a lot of the joy of what Superman is.
Okay.
However, after seeing what it went the other way, I'm suddenly a lot more graceful about it. I think I wish it would have been kicked back about 30% on that tone, and I think that would be a happy medium, because it doesn't have to be all gritty, dark. There was good moments of humor in there without it being let's try to make people laugh and pretend this is Loki and Thor talking.
As far as the visuals, though, I mean, that's kind of what sets DC apart.
Yeah.
Normally. Yeah, I enjoy that grittiness and that darkness, so I didn't really have an issue with that. I enjoyed it. I felt watching this cut, I felt a lot more like I was watching what it should be as a DC film.
Yeah, I mean, I think how it started, like right off the bat, we get Superman screaming and sending this ripple through the entire universe, like through the multiverse. It's going everywhere. Themyscira, it's going across. It's like I kind of felt like, and not to play against Disney, but I kind of feel like it was a shot at pirates when the coin is dropped into the ocean and it hits and that ripple, boom. Because what did we end with when Batman goes to see Lex Luthor at Arkham? We hear him say the bell has been rung, ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
And what does that mean? And we found out, like,
Yeah.
in the Zack Snyder cut, we found out what it meant for the bell has been rung. We saw it go across all of the universes, the completely, and then boom, right back. And we saw, like, literally how it's been said is the difference between DC and Marvel. DC is gods trying to be men, to where Marvel is men trying to be gods. And we saw this. We saw Zeus and Ares fighting in a battle.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Done.
And this is what they needed to make this different from Marvel. That's the problem. Every time DC does the fold, and they have too many executives in there that are having too much to do. Obviously, after we watch this cut, we know executives have ruined the DC universe. Mm-hmm. Because this is what happens when the executives don't have as much say. And this sets it apart as something completely different from the Marvel universe. I love what Marvel's doing. I don't want to see DC doing it unless it's, certain characters it'll work with. But I don't want to see it. I want to see something different. And they gave us something different, the music was more intense than anything we get anywhere else. Maybe true, other than the Wonder Woman thing, maybe it's not as memorable, but it's more intense anyway. Mm-hmm. The characters, I cared about the characters this time. I did not care about the characters first time I watched this movie with the Whedon cut, whatever it is. You don't care about the characters. If they're strictly properties, if that makes sense.
Yeah. They showcase their abilities. They don't flesh them out at all.
Yeah.
And this time around, they did a great job at that. Everybody got their moment.
Yeah. And we're gonna hit the epilogue like later, but that's even what they gave us. Let's talk about some of the characters they gave us that we deserve to get. They gave us a little bit of the Green Lantern universe. We actually got Kilowog. We got the Martian Manhunter, which has been hinted at for 4 movies, and they didn't give us.
Right.
Yeah, that was great.
Right.
They gave us a much better fleshed out battle in Themyscira than we've gotten. They gave us Darkseid. Like a lot.
Yeah.
And maybe he's a little too Thanos. I'm okay, but I'm not. But let's be honest, those two are pretty interchangeable characters. They gave us the Darkseid's, I forgot what his beam's called. You know what I'm talking about? With that it goes all over the place. It doesn't go in a straight line.
Oh,
I don't remember what it's called. Anyway, but they gave us that. They gave us a much better Aquaman. I mean, I've liked Aquaman. They gave us a Mira that I actually liked.
Yeah, they gave us an Aquaman that failed. Like, if you notice, he failed, like, trying to fight for the box. He got whooped. And they showed that he was, like, they showed that each individual character wasn't, like, they were defeatable in a way that they couldn't on their own defeat this thing. They had to come together as a team.
That was the biggest thing they really laid on. That unity, that coming together as a team. I mean, throughout the movie. So the other one, it was not the case. I think Wonder Woman even went up against Steppenwolf by herself at one point, didn't she?
Yeah.
This time around, she had some boys standing behind her. So I really like that they laid into that. It's the Justice League.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
I think that I really enjoy how they didn't each individual that already has a movie. So you have
except for
Batman v Superman has one, Batman has one, Batman v Superman, you've got Wonder Woman has one, but Flash and Cyborg, they don't have their own. So we got a huge bit of backstory, a little bit more. It took out the jokey, funny stuff when the Flash draws the glasses and the stuff on the dude's face behind him in line at the jail.
Yeah.
It added more story to both of them, as far as where Cyborg comes from, who he was before that as as an athlete and building up to that. So we kind of get these mini movies within the movie for each one. I mean, an extra 45 minutes was added just to the scene where the Flash meets or saves
Iris.
In itself, that added to who he was.
Yeah. Now, go ahead.
I just think it's amazing. It was just right.
Now, because we're not complete fanboys, I will point out a big glaring error with this. With this Flash, should not have been the Barry Allen Flash. This should be the Wally West Flash. If they want jokey, which he had a little bit of that, and trying to more prove himself than Barry Allen always had a lot more together. Wally West did not, and that's who I think. It's a small thing, and if you're not a comic book geek, you probably didn't get it. But that was Wally West. That wasn't Barry Allen. I don't buy this Flash per se, but story-wise, in this story, it was fantastic. The other thing that I think DC has a huge issue with, they have this amazing TV universe that everybody's into, and why they are not merging the two is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's their miss. I think that is their miss. I think the CW over here, Warner Brothers over here, they need to start playing together a little better, because this could end up being something that, I mean, I think it will change everything in the DC cinematic universe. I think this was full redemption.
Yeah.
In the way that it portrayed things different. We saw a full bat signal. Mm-hmm. We saw a full, Alfred being Alfred. We got to see these parts of Batman, of Wonder Woman, of, the darkness, I think, that we talked about in the beginning was coming back from the sadness of the loss of Superman.
Mm-hmm.
They bring Superman back. Things start to lighten up a little bit, but then we start the mother box game. They start taking these things away, and now they're going to suck the life out of the entire multiverse, but the Justice League has to stop it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's where we go. That's where they headed with this one. That's what Snyder was going for. Like, in order to find the light, we have to defeat the darkness, and they're going to get there.
Yeah. Now, this is where Warner Brothers, why every executive should be fired on this case. Now, they could have beaten the Marvel Cinematic Universe by 4 or 5 years on the multiverse. Mm-hmm. They still haven't got to it. They're still not going to get to it for another 2 years. Yeah. As far as, this is the multiverse. They were there on this movie. Completely. They were there. Yep. And they just threw it away.
Yeah.
And I loved their take on the multiverse. It's a lot less convoluted of a multiverse than Marvel's is. I get it because I read it all the time, but I've always liked the DC multiverse. It just makes more sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not like, well, this story's taking place here, this story's taking place here, and this story's taking place there. DC has it a lot more organized. Now, this was a mistake big time, because they would have been ahead of Marvel for a change. Right. Which kind of bums me out on that one. Let's talk about the multiverse stuff with the Nightmare World. The possible future that they merged with bringing back Superman. Most people would know it more as the Injustice multiverse.
Right.
If you play the game, the Injustice, mm-hmm. when Superman becomes a bad guy because Lois Lane gets killed, and Batman can't save her, and it turns the world into a shambles, and Superman basically takes over as High Supreme Ruler. That's what they're setting up for this, and I'm like, oh, I want to see this. Wow. And the way that they're kind of keeping it separate but the same, with the different color palette and all that stuff. I really like where they're going with this. I just hope that they give Snyder the chance to do it again, because this is 95% on Rotten Tomatoes, 90 as far as real people, 95% positive rating.
Wow.
48% positive for critics, but the critics all suck. Well, they're saying it's 4 hours long and I can't watch that. It's 4 hours. We know it's 4 hours. It's actually 2 movies.
And you're streaming it. There's a pause button on the remote. So
And you can watch.
You can go shopping. You can come back.
You can end the first chapter. He made it in 6 chapters for a reason.
Watch it like a show.
Yeah.
And it's actually, I would recommend that, because 4 hours is a long time to sit down. But about 45 minutes at a time, that's what you get on this. I'm like, that with people that aren't into the DC universe, that's what I'm recommending to them. No, just watch it in a couple of sittings. Don't try to get through it, because there's so much to it, and it's just beautiful.
And I gotta say, I hope they give it to Snyder again too, because Snyder just gave them a future. After the Whedon, you couldn't really see, okay, Justice League 2, 3, where can we go from here? At the end of that one, you're kind of like, okay, was that it? This one, obviously, when we'll talk about the epilogue, once you get to the end, you realize, oh wow, okay, now we got a future here. They can go a lot further, and there's those execs again. They really screwed themselves, but thankfully,
well,
I think there's a lot of redemption here.
You got to think the last Whedon was, I think, Ultron. The last one that he did. So, I think so. And thinking about it, I've only watched Age of Ultron one time in the theater. I didn't like it. There were too many inconsistencies. Once again, it was this bright, colorful, I loved the voice use. I loved the actors that they chose to do these things. I just felt like it was, once again, another poor Tony Stark, kind of
detail.
It lacked total detail. We still didn't know who half these people really were, except the main folks in it. Where's my backstory? Where's my stuff? We still have Hydra. We still have all this stuff, even though it's kind of slowly fading away.
Yeah.
And Ultron's taking over. Like, that still shows the childlike nature of that universe, to where what we just saw was a gift to comic book fans.
Yeah.
100%. The conversation in have we gotten to the epilogue? I mean, we're talking about the
we're
epilogue
almost
a
there,
little
but
bit. So, but I mean, once we get there, that was my favorite part of the entire movie. I came apart in it. Like, I saw something different, that created the future. It completely created the future for DC Cinematic Universe. And for those people that like you said, that are Marvel fans, they're Marvel faithful, give it a shot. Watch it with an open mind. Don't watch it with your
Marvel.
Don't watch it with your Disney, with your mouse ears on. Watch it, watch it normal.
There is room for both.
There is. There fully is.
I think comic readers and geeks in general do themselves such a disservice by trying to pick a side. Honestly, I think that this would have gone a lot farther if people weren't playing pick a side the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
And I hear that all the time. Well, you're just a DC guy. Green Lantern sucked. I get it. They had a bad movie. That doesn't mean the world that I love sucks, and it doesn't mean that the Marvel stuff sucks. I read both comics.
Yeah.
And I buy them on the same week. I have no issue with it.
Yeah, Green Lantern did suck, but so did Iron Man 2 and Thor 2. So, hey,
it happens.
You have 2, we have 1.
Okay, so let's talk the epilogue. This to me is that's the key to everything. Seeing Joker, and it was that perfect Joker Batman dichotomy. You can't kill me. I'm your best friend. I'm like, oh, and he's having to protect him and you don't know all that's going on either. And it's like, oh, I mean, you have an idea if you're a reader, but yeah, you don't, if you're not, you have no idea what's going on here. And it's fascinating.
The conversation, you know, of course you get
Jared Leto,
freaking Jared Leto, sans tattoo face, sans this gangster look,
I'm
long
so glad
hair,
they got rid of it. Yeah.
You know, red mouth. He was fully in the spot, you know, and he's standing there, and we get Batman dropping F-bombs, you know, and then the conversation about Harley, like the Joker throws this line at him about what he's going to do to him. And Batman's like, really? Okay. So let me tell you about how this happened in my arms and what she said to me and made me promise her. Like, the look on his face, everything that's happening going around them, I just fell apart. I was like,
it just
I
felt
felt like
good.
a kid in a candy store, dude. At 11 o'clock at night, when we walked away from, you know, when I walked away to go to bed, I was just as happy as I could be.
Yeah, so. It was. Yeah. Oh, let's see what else they dropped in there. That was the, I love seeing Deathstroke in there as part of their. I mean, this is full on Flashpoint. If you read Flashpoint, this is full on Flashpoint, and that's one of the better stories that have come out in the last 40 years. Yeah. Just
and if you consider it too, it's not just because he brought Batman back. What caused Flashpoint? Flash messing with the Speed Force,
and they actually showed him messing with time in this movie. They didn't in the Whedonverse. They actually showed him pulling time back when he brought the cube back up. I don't know if everybody caught that. That was what's going on.
He did it twice. He
on accident.
Time back on accident, and then he was like, "Okay, I've got to run faster than the speed of light." So he pulls time backwards to pull the mother boxes back apart to do what he has to do. So that in itself, for all of us that know Flashpoint, it just happened.
Yeah.
This literally could be the beginning of that whole section.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Yeah, I talked to you guys earlier and said that, you know, I'm not the most involved in DC. I normally gravitate towards Marvel. That's why I'm glad I'm here. I'm gonna learn some things. But I know of Flashpoint and all that. And when I saw him doing that even got me excited. Somebody who's not deep in the DC verse. You know, I was okay. This could be something, you know. This could really go somewhere. And that's what I mean. They just gave a big future to the DC movies.
They gave us 4 movies.
Yeah, 4.
Right.
At least.
So
at least.
That is
if
exciting.
they're smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
we'll see.
But I don't want another 4-hour movie. No. I think this is the only movie. If they do another Justice League 2, then you can have another 4. But let's do the individual movies. Let's do a Flashpoint movie in 2 parts. Let's do, you know, I mean, we can bring in the Green Lantern Corps the right way finally.
Oh yeah.
You know, and this is what it should be. It's so nice to be able to talk DC for a change, because we always hear we've been talking Marvel for the last 5 years because this is what they've given us. And it's so nice to be able to talk with people that are like, I love this. You know, it's such a nice feeling. I feel like I'm a DC fan. I can come out of the closet now. Well, because as I said, I love both. I really do. I do.
Right.
But I like the heroes better in DC. Is the Marvel universe, cinematic universe ahead? Yeah. But at least DC just gave us something, and they gave us something different from Marvel. So it didn't feel like a direct copy. It was what they're doing.
Yeah, no, I think, you know, as a fan of both as well, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I do enjoy both. I just don't, I we've said it multiple times. I just don't. I don't like how they played one against the other in this movie. But I feel like in the battle scene, in that whole storytelling of the battle scene, they literally, like, you could see all the different people. We saw Zeus, we saw Eros, we saw all these guys. Then you see, the Lantern Corps, at least in part, and then you see the hand come off and the ring float away.
Yeah, that was wild.
That gives us one, right? So now we have, access to Flashpoint. We have to see where Superman takes the turn.
They can run Blackest Night off of this because that'll bring everybody back.
Oh yeah. And then in the scene, in the dreams, in the epilogue, the dream sequence where he's holding the cowl, Superman's floating, he's holding the cowl, he kneels, and there he is, hand on the shoulder, the look up, like proud papa kind of a situation. It's like,
yeah,
and laying right in front of Superman is, I think, was, that was Lois.
Yeah,
maybe, but was there a lantern in front of that as well, in that pile of mess?
I didn't see one, but I'd say 4 hours is a lot to go through.
Right. And I need to go back and because we paused it and tried to rewind it and get a closer look.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of stuff going on. It was
I didn't want to do the show as a Easter egg stuff, but just honestly, I want people that haven't given this one a chance to give it a chance, and that's why I'm doing this more than anything else.
Yeah, full chance.
And if you hated it, cool. Tell me why. Actually, if you can put on the comments, tell us why. And I'm not going to fight you. I'm not going to argue with you. I might debate, but I'm not going to fight with you, and I'm not going to be upset with you. But if you didn't like it, I want to know why. And I don't want to hear, well, because Marvel did. I don't care.
Dude, my wife even liked it. Okay.
Yeah.
She was asking me, okay, so do you want to start it now? You want to keep going? You want to start? I'm like, yeah, it's 11:30. Like, we'll watch the rest tomorrow. But no, she loved it. She doesn't even know there is a Lantern Corps. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, she loved it. So yeah, absolutely. Everybody should at least give it a shot.
So yeah, now the latest word that came out, I don't know how much of it's faction, how much of it is fiction. Zack Snyder put out a video saying, hey, I have the next phase all planned out. I have it written and planned out. There's something else he used, but I have it planned out. So if Warner wants to go do this, let's do it. And then they just erase the Whedon cut.
Yeah, just completely.
And that isn't like, oh, this was the worst movie ever, but it wasn't what we deserved, and it ended the franchise.
Not from a dude that's 50 years old, that's been in the industry for 30 years.
Yeah.
Sorry, you've seen a DC movie. You've seen, if you've done a Marvel movie,
you've watched Superman, the movie,
especially a Marvel movie that a dude destroys an entire country, then you know how to make a movie with some power. And he didn't do it. It just didn't happen. And he's pick up a book.
True, maybe. And I will put this, maybe executives definitely had a lot more control on Whedon than they did on Snyder, and that's why Snyder was fired. Yeah, and I don't buy that the kid died or whatever. I mean, I'm not saying anything negative on all that, but I don't buy that that's why he was removed.
You don't think that's why?
No.
That they didn't want to wait and they just shoved him aside?
Obviously, this was ready to go.
Yeah.
All that reshooting they had to do. And
well, that's what they said. They said it was in the can, and his daughter passed. He left, and they didn't want to hold off. So they paid Whedon whatever because, Ultron made $1.8 billion. So let's bring in Whedon. He knows how to make a superhero movie. We're going to let him come in and run this thing through the machine with freaking a glue stick and freaking safety scissors and turn this into a freaking kid movie. And that's not what it was supposed to be. Obviously, we see it.
Yeah. And I mean, no, honestly, nobody knows the real story, but that's just our speculation on everything.
Right.
So I would actually like to hear, I know that everyone didn't like the first movie, but let's talk first movie versus second movie. Where do you grade them? First, I'll do mine first. First movie, I give a C minus. I don't want to give it a D because I just don't want to give it a D. And then on the new verse, I give an A minus. I think there's definitely room for improvement. However, a big one, you know, with the character stuff we talked about earlier and the length, I think this should have been 2 movies. But who cares? I give it an A minus. Tyler, what do you give first? And
The
second?
original one, I would say a D.
Okay.
Because I'm not as nice as you. The new one, the Snyder version, I give it an A minus. I really enjoyed it. I really felt that's what I was supposed to see the first time around.
Yeah.
But as far as the length goes, I could see some areas. I was identifying areas.
Oh,
They
there's
could have
definitely some
trimmed it.
cuts.
Yeah, they could have done this in 3 hours.
Yeah.
But
Very easily.
I do, I said it the other day on our Discord. The worst part about any superhero movie is the credits. So you give me 4 hours of one, I'm down. I'm there. So I don't mind that at all. So that's the only reason for the minus.
Skeeter?
Well, the first one, I'm D, low D.
Wow.
I feel like it didn't give credit to any of the characters the way they should have been seen. I feel like it was, I almost feel like it was just, I don't know, cartoony in a way that it didn't, that seeing how much was cut out.
Yeah.
Little things here and there that were cut out. Why? What makes you think that's okay? That's one big thing for me. In the Whedon cut, definitely felt like, they were rushed. He rushed to put something out.
100%.
And that's what he got paid to do. For the new one, I'm right there with you guys. I'm at an A minus, but I'm like 80, I'm like 90%. So we're right there at an A. Just because everything they did. We got backstory, we got new stories, we've got at least the introduction to, like you said, Dub, 4 new movies. The time of it, 4 hours, that was long. The way it was broken out gives people that opportunity to chop it up and watch it in multiple parts. And there was some fill. There was fill, but this was a cut. This was the original director's cut version of this movie that should have been out in 2 movies
last year.
So I think that this is going to change. This was a redemption. This is going to change the DC cinematic universe. And I think it's going to make Disney go, oh, what do we got to do now? I mean, we've got our TV going on, our Disney Plus stuff, but something's got to come in the theater because we got to bring it because they just brought it.
And that makes everybody better.
Yes.
And who wins? The geeks. Just saying.
We all win.
Yeah, we all win.
And that's a show, guys. Check out our Discord, our Facebook. Check out our website, www.iheartgeekshow.com. Use com. We paid extra for it. I swear I try not to say it. I did try not to say it earlier today. Go to our Patreon. We have a ton of new content going on there every day. Totally worth your couple of bucks or whatever you want to help support us. And we appreciate it. And until next time, I'm Dub. I'm here with Skeeter and Tyler. Keep on geeking on, guys.
You have been listening to the latest episode of the I Heart Geek Show. make sure you visit our website at www.iheartgeekshow.com. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And if you check us out on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And keep on geeking on to all of you geek rock stars.